Shakespeare said, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and they have their entrances." Today, Westminster's class of 2016 will take their exit from high school and enter into a much larger stage, the real world. In a play, the character's story is portrayed through a series of acts. For the class of 2016, this particular scene is ending, but we are at an intermission, not curtain call. This is not our final bow, because I know there is so much more in store for this class. And with that knowledge, I eagerly anticipate what the future holds for us in Act 2. For me, it was wonderful that Westminster provided not only exceptional academics, but an unrivaled fine arts program. In the fine arts at WCS, we develop our God-given talents. Whether through visual or performing arts, we have been able to sharpen our skills and showcase our talents, and in doing so, bring the glory to God. Interestingly enough, every student speaking today has been impacted by the fine arts at Westminster and has been very involved. Both our valedictorian and our salutatorian have been in the orchestra program for 9 years. Our athletic award winner has made all-state band and has sung solos in our choir's annual dinner theater. And our class president, although a little late to join, was involved in not one, but 2 fine arts his senior year. The arts touch all of our lives in some way. Think about the emotions evoked when you listen to the pounding drum line at a sporting event, when you watch your classmates do comedic improvisation, when you see your gym transformed into an art museum in the spring, when you soak in the classical piece performed by our orchestra. Do you see what I'm getting at? The arts capture our hearts and speak to our soul in a unique and powerful way. Recently, I have found myself reminiscing about the abundant memories I've made here at Westminster. From the huge moments like witnessing sport championships and performing on the school musical, to the smaller ones like getting an extra cookie from Francisco, or on a rare, chilly day sitting around the fire by the fountain. I will cherish each one uniquely. One dinner theater night rehearsal, we had been practicing at school since 6 p.m., and it was already 10. Most of us had been there since 8 a.m. that morning, and a lot of us had a big test the next day. But Mr. Whiting eloquently put it in perspective for us. 10 years from now, he said, you won't remember if you got question 3 correct. But what you will remember is getting these solos and performing with your friends. These are the moments you'll want to tell your children about. Choir has always been about more than just singing. Let your efforts rise above your excuses. To some, this is just a silly poster in the choir room that Mr. Whiting likes to quote, but for me, I took it to heart, and it gives me encouragement every single day. The fine arts teach us what it means to be a true leader, a follower of Christ, and a selfless servant. Priceless leadership skills were developed in drama when I was given the opportunity to direct large group events for theater competitions at both the district and state levels. As a music student, I grew spiritually under the Whiting's mentorship and transferred my skills alongside many of my classmates to lead worship in our school's chapels. In the Honors Girls Ensemble, we created devotionals to lead and share with each other during our summer retreats. This resulted in strong bonds of friendship I know I will have for the rest of my life. Other art programs also encourage students to serve. Art for Our Hearts students visit Miami Children's once a month to do crafts with the patients. Heartstrings is a volunteer orchestra ensemble that shares their musical gifts weekly in area hospitals. Drama students perform skits and puppet shows about God's love in the middle school and elementary chapels. Our choir trips have always had a component of community service. In the Grand Cayman, we volunteered at a nursing home, an elementary school, and led worship at a local church. And in Hawaii, we served at a military base, a community church, and a local Honolulu high school. Although each trip was at a beautiful destination with many attractions, the most rewarding part of our travels, the moments I will remember most, were those spent serving alongside my classmates. During my 13 years at Westminster, the fine arts instilled a sense of belonging and camaraderie. It is difficult to articulate the magic that goes into creating something so much bigger than yourself that equally delights performer and spectator alike. Through every rehearsal, obstacle, uncertainty, students are always aware that they're working together to achieve something otherwise impossible without the dedicated contribution of each member. Whether first chair violinist or backstage crew member, Each individual's God-given talent is so important to the success. Not surprisingly, I've experienced that same familial bond in the classrooms at Westminster. By definition, a home is the place where you live permanently as a member of a family. While I will no longer be attending Westminster, I know I will be a part of the Warrior family forever. My peers are my brothers and sisters, and the faculty have become like second parents to me. Every song has a coda, a final moment. Whether it crashes away or fades out, every song ends. But is that any reason to have not enjoyed the music? And while today does bring many bittersweet emotions, the most prevalent sentiment of mine is gratitude. I am so thankful for the time and memories I've spent with this class. From the teddy bear picnic in kindergarten to the mosaic ecosystem murals we made in 3rd grade, we grew up together. I am confident we will always be able to recite The Raven, especially after being the only class to have Mrs. Wright 2 years in a row. We had a sleepover at the zoo in 6th grade and another one in 7th at SeaWorld. There is not a class before or after us who has had that privilege. Finally, it was our class that started the tradition of senior field day, and I know none of us will ever forget slip and slide kickball. No one but the class of 2016 knows exactly what experiencing that was like. So even if throughout the years we lose touch, we will always have that bond we share as Warriors. Westminster means so much more to me than a title on a resume or an Instagram bio reading WCS 16. Whether in the classroom, on the field, or on stage, there is no place to feel safer and more loved than at our alma mater, our home, Westminster Christian School. Thank you.